I'm in oil and gas. And they say, wow, what is that like?
In the United States, you don't see half of the engineering team is not usually women.
When electricity was first introduced, life expectancy has been increased, so that's huge, right?
These are some of the women who are powering our world.
Now? Yeah. Oh, are we starting? Yeah. Oh, okay. My name is Elena Subia-Melkert.
My name is Lindsay Holliday.
Julie Flowers. My name is Peyton Crawford.
In the U.S., women make up less than 30% of the energy sector workforce.
Hello, my name is Tiendo.
Sally Hollingston.
But these trailblazers are hoping to change that.
I'm Anna Thauberger. My name is Pam Buns.
Hi, my name is Kat Mann.
In this Positive Energy Campaign video, meet 9 inspiring women as they share what drew them to the energy industry.
I started in oil and gas in the late 90s.
I've been in the industry for 20 plus years.
I always joke that I have oil running through my veins because I'm third generation. Never did I think growing up, or even in my early 20s, that I would be working in oil and gas.
So I've been in the oil business for over 40 years. That was my first job out of school. I have served 7 presidents in my career as a federal employee.
I grew up in a very remote village in the central of Vietnam, and when I grew up, we did not have electricity. Our life was very peaceful. However, the downside of no electricity was life was really poor. When electricity was first introduced back in 1998, the life expectancy has been increased from 65 on average to 78.
My dad actually, his family, they came as refugees to Saskatchewan, which is where I'm from, up in Canada. And growing up, they lived in a house that is basically a sod house. They had, no electricity. They didn't have, the running water. They didn't have, gas. Just a very hard life.
When I get asked what I do, usually my short answer is, I'm in oil and gas. And they say, wow, what is that like being a woman in Denver? We have oil and gas in Denver? Every day, I love what I do. I love the people that I work with. We solve problems. We're tough. We're resilient. These are some of the smartest people in the world. They're innovative. They're creative. They're giving. They're generous. They're kind.
So I've been in the oil and gas industry for 20 years. There has been an increase, I think, in women in the industry. Definitely going through engineering school, I think we were 40% women.
When I first started in the industry, it was definitely male dominated. I served on audit teams that were primarily male. I would always enter into the meetings, and the audit committee chair would stand up and shake the partner's hand and move to me and look like, do I want to give you a hug? Do I want to shake your hand? I would stick out my hand to shake his hand, just thinking that was normal, but you could tell that they were not as at ease. I still shake hands.
When I was living and working in Angola, Africa, before I went there, I was told to dial back my appearance. So I am a 5'2", wears 4-inch heels, blonde woman that generally wears dresses and so forth. That message was, you need to look more like a man. And this was in 2010. And so I was shocked by that. But unfortunately, I didn't question it. I just did it. Within about 3 months of being there and my personality come out to the Angolan workforce, specifically the women, they called me out. They said, what is this? Why are you wearing suits? This isn't you. And that was the first time that I really understood that being you is super important. So next day, the dress came out.
Just before COVID, in December of 2019, I was part of a delegation to Mexico City. The first thing I did was I said, okay, who are all the petroleum engineers out there? Raise your hand, raise your hand. I was so surprised, at least half of them were women. I was so surprised, I was so impressed, and I made a comment about that later to everybody, that in the United States you don't see half of the engineering team is not usually women.
Well, I think women bring a different perspective to this industry, and when you have a new perspective, it gives you a new avenue of knowledge to tap into, and I think knowledge is power.
Whether we want to admit it or not, men and women are different, and we think differently, and we behave differently, and we process differently. And I think having all of those voices in a conversation are very important and more productive.
It's amazing when you walk into the room of the meeting and more than half of it is women.
People say women need to have a seat at the table. That's only one step. You have to have the voice.
So I no longer use the phrase male-dominated. A good friend of mine has coached me to change it to male-populated. So that's one that I really like, and I feel strongly about that because I've never felt dominated by anyone in this industry.
I've learned to flip the narrative in my head. That crazy script that tells you you aren't enough, I have a crazy conversation with that voice in my head. Shh, no. I'm meant to be here. I'm here for a reason. You see, every person you meet knows something you don't know, and I'm that person that might be able to share something that people in that room don't know. So I'm there for a reason, and I have to remember that.
Like, comment, and subscribe to learn more about these amazing women. The Positive Energy Campaign. Energy matters. The future depends on it.